My allergies. I can't breathe. Hey y'all, welcome back to Mama Loves Manga. I'm here to continue on this bookshelf overview series that I'm doing, and just in case you are new and you have no idea who I am and what I'm doing, feel free to call me Mama if you want. I know a lot of people call me Mom and I love it personally, you know. Continue to call me Mom, but my real name is Aisha Soleil, and I talk about manga. I'm doing this series where I am talking about all of the books on my shelves in order from like one shots all the way up to my longer series. You'll see as the series continues how I do this, and the reason I'm doing this is so that I can give everyone who watches my videos a general overview of the titles that I have collected, what I've read, what I haven't read, so that way going forward, y'all, there's a fly. I actually don't know why I was saying so that way going forward, so that, what was I gonna say? Anyway, the point of this is so that y'all can get to know me and my reading tastes, have an idea of what's on my shelves. This is a long introduction. With that being said, let's get into this video. You can see from the title that I'm going to be talking about the series on my shelves that have 3 to 5 volumes. So let's start with the 3-volume series, and let's get into this. Oh my gosh, this is taking me too long and I have not had my tea yet. It's steeping right now and it has to steep for 6 minutes, and I still have a minute left according to my camera. So I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for this tea. Let's start with Tsubasa, Those with Wings by Natsuki Takaya. Natsuki Takaya is the creator of Fruits Basket. If y'all didn't know that, she is great. I love her. Fruits Basket was my very first manga series, has a spot in my heart forever, and for the longest time, Fruits Basket was the only series by Natsuki Takaya that I had. So recently, I want to say earlier this year, I decided that I wanted to go ahead and collect all of her works, and I have, except for one, but I'll get into that way later. But anyway, I did start reading this. I have not finished it, obviously. What I've read so far, I have enjoyed. It's like an adventure fantasy that follows this young woman. I say woman, I think, is she a teenager? I'm actually not really sure how old she is. She's a girl person. And she's young. But anyway, her name is Kotobuki? Yeah, Kotobuki. She is a thief, or rather an ex-thief. She grew up in a situation that was not ideal. She had to steal, and she became a very good thief. And because she was a thief, she always had run-ins with the authorities, which are like these night people, night with a K. She ends up deciding she doesn't want to be a thief anymore. She wants to become legit. She tries to find jobs, but she's not really good at a lot of jobs. She has a problem with like her temper, which I love characters like that. But anyway, she gets into some trouble and ends up running into that knight again, and it turns out that, you know, he's not a knight anymore, and he's kind of on the run, you know, and then they end up kind of going on the run together, and they end up kind of joining this other group of people, and they're looking for this thing called the Tsubasa that is supposed to give them some sort of powers. Did I explain that very well? You're probably confused. You know what? Next up is a series that is arguably not a manga. It is definitely written by a Black American woman. It is more so, I think, inspired by manhwa than manga. Manhwa is Korean comics as opposed to Japanese comics. And you know, I'm not gonna sit here and argue about whether or not something is manga or manhwa if it's not written by a Korean or a Japanese person. But this is called Love, Love, Waiting And this is by, girl, if you are watching this video, I apologize profusely if I pronounce your name incorrectly, because I don't think I've ever asked you how to say it. Shireen, or I was gonna say Sherion because I'm black. Morishita. This is a story about a young woman who is half black and half Korean, and through a series of circumstances, she ends up going back to Korea, where I believe she was born, and getting into shenanigans, and also learning about how to love herself. And it's great. Now, this wouldn't be a Mama Loves Manga video if I didn't talk about some clamp titles. So the next 1, 2, 3, 4 are clamp titles, and there's probably, honestly, wait, are there more? Yeah, starting with Clamp School Detectives. This is so funny. I love this series so much. This is a series that centers around 3 elementary school kids that go to this prestigious school, Clamp School, and they decide they're going to be detectives, and they're basically solving these mysteries, these little crimes in their little elementary, and it's just cute and funny, like slapstick, ridiculous, over the top hilariousness. Clamp really does the type of comedy that I absolutely love. I love the type characters, and you definitely get those in here. What else can I say? Next up, I have Tsubasa World Chronicle Nirai Kanai. This, I think, is a follow-up to their other Tsubasa series. I have not read Tsubasa yet, and so that means I have not read this one. Next is Suki, a like story. I'm very, very hesitant to read this series. I have been really putting it off because I know this is a story about a young girl, like very young, like a young teenage girl. I think maybe 14. Is she 14? Maybe not. Maybe she's not 14, but she's definitely in high school. So maybe I'm aging her down a little bit, but she's still young. Okay, she's in high school, so she can't be older than 18. And she has a crush on her teacher, and I don't know if this is actually going to be a romance. It is called a like story, so I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm trying. Y'all know I don't like to judge things before I actually read them. We'll see. Next, I have Rig Veda by Clamp. Technically, these are omnibus volumes, but there are 3 of them, so they're going to be in this video. I already have a manga chat about this one, so if you're curious about my thoughts, I would definitely say go watch that one. Next up, I have Orange by Ichigo Takano. I know that this is technically 2 omnibus volumes, and then the follow-up, like, I guess like a sequel type thing, but I'm counting this as 3 volumes. I've actually read this series already on my Kindle. I loved it. Okay, and I loved it so much that I decided to go ahead and buy these omnibus versions, and then also go ahead and buy this follow-up little one-shot. I have not read the one-shot, and I think I haven't read it because I'm just not ready for the feels. Next, I have Giant Spider and Me, a post-apocalyptic tale by Kikorin Morino. I've talked about this series a number of times because I love it. It is such a cute and sweet series. It's about a young girl who lives in a post-apocalyptic time, and she originally was living with her father, but then her father went to go do something, and he has not come back. And I don't want to give any spoilers away, so I won't really say much about the father, but she ends up living alone for quite some time, and when she's out and about gathering some food for herself, she ends up coming into contact with this scary monster beast thing. But he's also really adorable, and it's the sweetest story of friendship and acceptance. and also food, because food is a big part of this. There are actually recipes in here. She is a very self-sufficient young lady. You know, look, I'm always in awe of kids in manga series who are like able to do all this cooking and all this cleaning, because it's like pulling teeth to get my kids to just like wipe their own butts. I would like to adopt her, which I probably shouldn't adopt her, because I would end up making her do all the work around the house, and that's not nice. Next up I have Dragon Half by Ryusuke Mita. I know this is not going to be a series for everyone. If you don't like fan service, if you don't like a little bit of ecchi in your your fantasy manga, you're probably not gonna like this. It's very tongue-in-cheek. It definitely makes fun of itself. Like, the main love interest's name is Dick Saucer. But this is a story about a young teenage girl, I think she's 16 or so, who is half dragon, and she's dealing with that. She's dealing with the fact that she's half dragon, and this person that she has a crush on is a dragon slayer, and so she's trying to, you know, hide the fact that she is half dragon. She's decided that she wants to take a potion to make her human so that she can be with her crush, who doesn't even really like know who she is. She goes on this quest to find this potion that will turn her into, that's supposed to turn her into a human so that she can be with Dick Saucer. It's a coming of age story, but it's ridiculous, and it makes a lot of references to like 90s JRPGs, which if you've watched any of my videos or paid close enough attention, you know that JRPGs are my jam. That's one of my favorite genres of video games. And yes, she is a 16-year-old, and so I probably shouldn't be like promoting the fan service and the ecchi, but you know, I've already established that sometimes I'm a hypocrite. Next I have Puella Magi Madoka Magica by Magica Quartet and Hanokage. Hanokage. I know that a lot of y'all already know about this series. You've probably seen the anime, which I love the anime, and I also really enjoyed the manga. I believe there are other like spin-off series of this that focus on other magical girls. This is the only one that I have, and I don't know if I'm going to read the other ones. I haven't decided yet. I've considered it, I just haven't decided, but for now this is what I have, and I really enjoy this. Next is After Hours by Yuta Nishio. I have a manga chat about this one. I'm pretty sure. I'll link it up here. Alright, so this is another one that is not technically a 3-volume series. It's a one-shot and then a sequel with 2 volumes, and I'm not fully sure if this is actually finished. First we have My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness by Nagata Kabi, followed with My Solo Exchange Diary. This is another series that is definitely not for everyone, and honestly I feel that with all manga is not for everyone, and you just got to go out there and try stuff out. If you see it and you're curious, buy it or borrow it or whatever, see if you like it, and if you don't like that first volume, put it away, return it, whatever. It's a very real story, and there are some things that I could relate to, a lot of things that I could not relate to, but I definitely have, I enjoy this, and I'm glad that I have them, and if this does continue, I will continue to buy it, but I think it's done, hopefully, or I'll have to put it in another video. Ooh, I think my tea is ready. I mean, it's been ready. It's just been sitting here. Girl, you just a mess. Ugh. This one is called The Plug, and it's made with licorice, spearmint, orange peel, cinnamon, rosebuds, and petals, raspberry leaf, and lemon verbena. And it's so interesting because it has a natural sweetness, and I'm wondering if that's the the licorice. I don't usually like licorice, like the, you know, the black licorice. That stuff is nasty. But this, however she did this, this is magic. This is wonderful. I think this would be really good with a little bit of lemon juice. I wish I had some lemon juice. I wish I had lemon. Just put like a little lemon slice in there. This is definitely good for me right now because y'all, my allergies are a mess. Yeah, very interesting tea. Very interesting. All right, let's continue on with this little video, okay? Moving on to the 4-volume series on my shelves. First up, I have Flower of Life by Fumi Yoshinaga. I have not read this one yet. I hadn't because I was waiting for my 4th volume to come in, and I've had the 4th volume for a little bit now and just still have not gotten around to picking this up. I really need to get it together. So I don't know what this is about. And next I have Antique Bakery, also by Fumi Yoshinaga. I do have a manga chat about this one, so go ahead and check that out here. Here I have Earthian by Yu Koga. This is one that I have not talked about on my channel. I may have mentioned it in like an old haul or something like that, but I don't have a manga chat. I have not talked about this actually very much at all. And that's because I really want to reread this to get a better feel of it, because this is, it left me very confused. It's a BL story that centers around angels. And I don't know. I'll have to reread this so I can explain it better. Next I have The Delinquent Housewife by Nemu Yoko. I do have a manga chat about this one. So go ahead and watch that because I want to get this video moving. And here I have Pre-Tier by Kaori Naruse and Junichi Sato. This is a series that I picked up because I heard about it on the Shoujo and Tell podcast. I have not done a manga chat on this one, but essentially it is a magical girl Snow White retelling. It is out of print, so you will have to buy it used if you can find it. But yeah, maybe I'll read this again and then do an actual manga chat sometime, eventually. Now, I do have 2 series in this pile that are currently stopped at 4 volumes, and I think they're on hiatus, and I'm not sure if they will ever come back because they are clamp titles. So for now I'm going to say that they are 4-volume titles, and then if somehow later we get lucky and get continuations of these series, I will talk about them again. But that would be Gate 7 and Holic Ray. Now we're moving on to the 5-volume series on my shelves, and we're going to start with Phantom Dream by Natsuki Takaya. I have read this one, and it was not my favorite. The premise, the concept was very interesting, but the execution was kind of meh. And speaking of Natsuki Takaya, I also have her series Twinkle Stars. Again, I'm not sure if these are omnibus versions because they are quite thick, but there are 5 of them. I have heard from my friend Shay at Shay Geeks Out that this feels more like Fruits Basket but is not the same as Fruits Basket. And I think what she means is that it's the caliber of storytelling that we have come to expect from Natsuki Takaya after reading Fruits Basket. And I'm really excited to read this one. And finally, I have Supri. I think it's Supri. Where I'm just gonna say Supply by Mari Okazaki. Now, this is not actually a 5-volume series. I know that in Japan, it's gone up to like 8 or 9 volumes. But you know, Tokyo Pop, they what happened to them. It's about a woman who is, I want to say, in her late 20s, and she works a lot, as a lot of people in Japan do. They work so much. The work culture there is just because she works a lot, she doesn't have time to date, and that's basically what it is. It's her trying to be good at her job, and also really wishing that she had like a personal life, and getting kind of frustrated because she's like, I'm getting older and it's getting harder for me to find love, man. What the heck? Volume 5 does end in a way that honestly could be taken as an ending, but it left me wanting more, especially considering that the last page says to be continued, and then the next page gives us a little insight into volume 6, and I'm like, that's not fair. That's so rude, Tokyo Pop. How dare you tease us and say, oh, there's gonna be a volume 6, and then go bankrupt. And that's it. Just so you know, this is not the final video in this series. I actually don't know how many more videos there are going to be in this series. It's just until I go through my whole collection. My collection is not that large, so it shouldn't take me that much longer to do. It's just a lot of talking, you know? I've already been here for like an hour, but y'all don't know that because I'm gonna edit this. And on that note, sit down and read your manga. Bye.